Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sil and I am a woodworker that decided to transform my house with my own hands. One project at a time, one room at a time. And I'm covering the outside right now. The last video I shared the beginning of the process of my exterior or my landscaping, and I wanted to share the part 2. When I started the process, I wasn't making any videos, but I was taking pictures of the process, and this is why I'm trying to catch up with you guys until I reach where I am at the moment. I wanted to document here the process because my home is turning better than I imagined, and I feel like someone out there needs to see, to be inspired, or to believe that it's possible to turn something simple into your dream space. I wanted to share how slow the process is because making things by yourself with your own hands take time, but it's very satisfying. Last year, before the winter, I removed a little bit of the grass and I created a pathway. I created a pathway to get to the gate on the side of the house. In the winter, everything died and couldn't handle how sad and dead my front yard was. The bark that I chose, the color, was blending with the dirt, which at that point I didn't know the power of mulch to finalize the space. I decided to take the winter to plan the perfect space, but in a low budget. First, I need to understand the sun location. I went outside a few times throughout the day, days that was very sunny, and I made kind of like a map where the sun and the shade was throughout the day. After that was to figure out what plants I want, and I think the best way for me to start was choosing a color scheme for my flowers, for my plants. I thought this was the best deal for me. I knew that I wanted gravel since the beginning, and I thought it was enough for the pathway. In March, I went to work. So I removed all the bark, I reshaped the grass in the middle, I reshaped the garden bed as well with both sides, and then I add the gravel. Replacing the gravel was a lot of work, you have no idea. But I also think that was very worth. And when I add the mulch, everything popped, like it was so dreamy. Everything was so clean, exactly the way I wanted. I didn't want to plant too many new flowers at this point because it was still April, it was kind of chilly for flower planting, but we did plant a few trees around, and this is how things looked like in April. When I finished, I realized that I had too much gravel left, which was a great surprise. I decided to remove the grass on the other side of my driveway, and it turned out pretty awesome. But I still have too much gravel left, which was amazing, but was not planned, I promise. I decided to tackle the side of my backyard. I will call this side the orchard. When you go through the front yard, the pathway that I created, how it looked like when you open the gate. First, my husband planted 3 trees, and we chose 3 fruit trees. And after that, he planted, was my turn to get back to work. I made a ring around the trees, and I tried to make the space as flat as possible because our backyard is kind of like a sloped backyard, and I created a berm. So I took all the grass and I flipped the grass and I created a berm. Then I add the gravel onto the space, and this is pretty much how it was. And this was the plan for this year of 2026. Except a trip to Home Depot, we came back with 12 green giants, and this is where I am at right now. So the next video, I'll be sharing the real-time process. I still have a lot to do here, but I'm trying to take time to see things growing, to see what works, what doesn't work. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thanks so much for being here, and I hope to see you next week.